Fleet aerobatic team. And arriving in pyramid formation, they're going to shuffle into box formation for our first manoeuvre, the box loop.
Okay, see you soon. Bye.
That's Andy Evans at the top there, Kirsty Murphy on the left, Mike Ling on the right, and James McMillan in the back. And now all four aircraft are going to pull up into the vertical, and the two on the outside are going to perform mirrored stall turns, and 1 and 4 pushovers, and this is for the breathtaking Falling Angels. And now our leader Andy Evans is going to call them into staggered formation as they come directly for us. This is our first high G manoeuvre. They'll be pulling up to 8G here. Get your cameras ready for the crossfire break. Now we stick the aircraft on the out, right? This is Kirsty and Mike here. Sequence, we'll look to our left and right again now. This is blades 1 and 4's turn to take centre stage. Again, they're going to go head to head at a closing speed of 350 miles per hour, but first they're going to perform some aileron rolls for you. And as they pull it into the vertical here, in a few seconds we'll hear the engines go quiet, and the pilots have requested for you to cheer as loudly as possible when you hear that silence. There we go. Thank you very much. And now if we stick with the aircraft on the right, this is James McMillan in Blade 4. It's his first solo sequence. James joined us last year in the Blade 2 position, straight from Coningsby in fact as a Typhoon pilot. But he's moved up into the Blade 4 position, and his aircraft has a slightly bigger engine which enables him to do these more aggressive aerobatic manoeuvres, and he's really shown you what the extra 300 can do here as he flings it around the skies for you. And he's going to perform his signature manoeuvre here and perform the blade slide. Looking absolutely stunning here today on this beautiful day. And James is in fact a New Zealand native and was the youngest ever fast jet pilot for the New Zealand Air Force, qualifying at just the age of 20 years old. And he joined the Reds, became leader of the Synchro pair. He also flew the Harrier, as I said, Typhoon, and then he joined the Blades. It's delighted to have him on board for a second season. And he's going to perform a lovely torque roll for you here as he falls backwards through his own smoke. Absolutely stunning here. It's just perfect weather for this. And now if we look to our left, we'll see James there at the back corkscrewing around base 1, 2 and 3 smoke. Absolutely beautiful. I'd like to take a moment here to thank our sponsors for the 2019 season. For a 5th year running, we have our prime sponsor Aerobytes, which is a company that specialises in black box safety software for over 200 European airlines. Thank you very much for your ongoing support. We couldn't do what we do without you. Our other sponsors include Zyrad Cables, a leader in industrial cables based in Lee in the UK, and our charity partner, the RAF Benevolent Fund, the heart of the RAF. And this next manoeuvre is in fact dedicated to our prime sponsor. We're going to see all 4 aircraft pull up into the loop, and as they come back round, it's going to be a beautiful photo opportunity for the underneath of the aircraft. So get your cameras ready for the Aerobytes box bend. Like I said, any photos, please do send them into our social media channels. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, or via email info@theblades.com, and you could find yourself in the front seat of this aircraft with Mike Ling, the longest ever serving Red Arrows pilot. And new to this year, for this display, they're going to formate in a T formation. So just in case you missed that photo opportunity of the underneath of the aircraft, they're going to give you one more chance. And this is the Tango Bend. Formation into line abreast formation, and all 4 aircraft are going to pull up into the vertical and perform tight stall turns to our left, and this is a signature maneuver for the blades. This is the blades hammerhead. I think they've absolutely nailed that one. I'm sure we're going to have some wonderful photos of the hammerhead today. And now Blade 1 has called them into line astern formation, one behind the other. And they're going to pull up into the vertical and each aircraft slide out to the left. This is the Blade Snake. And contains over 30 high G manoeuvres and the precision it requires to fly in formation. They're going to perform 4 sets of aileron rolls for you here, and let's see how they do today. I think you'll agree they've done a pretty good job there with those rolls. And now the team are going to perform our second break of the display. They're going to pull up into the vertical, form a quarter clover, and as they come back down, they're going to perform the trident split. So again, everybody get your cameras ready, and don't forget to send them into our social media channels. And now we stick the 2 aircraft that are together. They're going to perform the heart for us today, and I'd like to dedicate it to everybody here at Teignmouth, everybody watching the airshow. Thank you very much for watching the Blades display today. And I think that's probably the best heart we've done all season, actually. So again, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. Taken to watch. They're going to do a split. Sorry, a roll to split. Get ready for this one. And now they're going to start their second sequence. They're going to go head to head here at a breathtaking 350 miles per hour. And now they're going to form what we call the Lomshabak. And this is a Czech term meaning headache or hangover, which I'm sure everybody can appreciate why after watching that one. But again, it's one of our passenger favourite manoeuvres. We fly over 300 passengers per year in Northamptonshire for our unforgettable flying experiences, and I can tell you it is truly unforgettable. But now, if we look out to our 12 o'clock, we'll see Blades 1 and 4, and they're going to climb quite high here. They need the altitude for this manoeuvre, but again, it is breathtaking. They're going to pull up into the vertical and basically spiral back down towards the sea. This is twin knife edge spins. And so if you can imagine doing that yourself, please do visit our website, theblades.com, and get in contact, buy your loved one an unforgettable flying experience, or treat yourself. And now it's time for Blade 4, James McMillan's second solo routine, again demonstrating just what the Extra 300 can do. The aircraft was developed in the 1980s by a German aerobatic pilot, Walter Extra, and it's perfect for aerobatics. It weighs around 690 kilograms, but most of that weight is the engine. which enables them to do these extreme aerobatics manoeuvres. And here's James here just demonstrating a slow roll, demonstrating the precision required to fly this aircraft. But the Blades aren't just an aerobatic team, we also... And now we'll see Blades 1, 2 and 3 approaching, again a new manoeuvre for this year. This is the Revolver. Andy at the front here is performing a slow left roll. Blades 2 and 3 barreling around the back. And they describe this as the most challenging manoeuvre they've ever had to learn in the Blades. It's quite disorientated in front, trying to keep focus, but it looks absolutely stunning here today. It's an incredible manoeuvre to have in our 2019 display. And the whole team now are going to regroup. Unfortunately, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day with some wonderful acts. I'll hand you back to the main comment centre.
Speed can be turned back into height and back into speed again. It's called riding the gravity train. It's a very important part of aerobatics. Pulling up to the vertical, pitching up with a 1/4 roll and then pulling over the top. So she's changed from the A axis to the B axis and back to the A again with a half roll on the way down. It really is a beautiful little aeroplane. Pitts S1, incredibly tricky to fly. Very short moment on the fuselage, as you can see, very short between the engine and the tailplane. That means it's very, very tricky to land because you've got that great big engine in front of you that blocks out the view as you turn into land. Requires a great deal of specialist training to fly one of these. 4 ailerons, one on each wing, gives it a roll rate in excess of 360 degrees a second. Very large, powerful rudder enabling you to perform basically full auto rotation manoeuvres with a very neat stall turn there. Pulled up to the vertical, let the aircraft coast to a stop with the power off. Just before it stopped completely, kick on full rudder, the aircraft swaps ends. Dives back down towards the sea, that's called a stall turn. Over the top of the half loop. And a full roll at the top, continuing the loop now to a manoeuvre we call the avalanche. As I said, born and bred in Cornwall, Corrine Dennis also has quite a surprise when it comes to this aircraft, because she built it, not from a kit. She got the plans from Pitts, and she actually learned metalwork and woodwork. Beginning in July 2006, I do beg your pardon, 2009, she actually started building this aircraft from a plan. 7 years it took her, and she had to learn not only electronics, avionics, how to put the instruments in, how to put the engine in, how to literally plumb the fuel system in. She had to learn everything there was to know about this aeroplane while she was building it, because she had no skills whatsoever when she started. And then in August 2016, the aircraft made its maiden flight at the hands of one of the pilots from the Shuttleworth collection, actually, Rob Millinship. Rob very used to flying high-performance biplanes. So he took it on its first flight, and after that, Corrine continued its test flying for the next 5 hours until it passed all its CAA examinations. And she actually gave the aircraft a name. This that you're looking at right here and now is Tarquin. I do not know why she called it that, but that's the name of the aircraft. The Pitts Special itself is a very, very old design. Started life in 1946. It was designed by Curtis Pitts, again for a lady, this time the American aerobatic champion Betty Skelton. She wanted an aircraft that would be extremely difficult to fly, extremely manoeuvrable. Basically with a very, very big engine in the front. In fact, she wanted an aircraft, she described to Curtis Pitts, that was a real little stinker. And that was what the first Pitts Special was called, Little Stinker. With it, Betty Skelton went on to win the American Aerobatic Championships. And then competed at world level. And ever since that time, the Pitts has been a firm favourite amongst aerobatic pilots. The original aircraft flying on an 80 horsepower engine. Some Pitts Specials today have up to 400 horsepower. In fact, a company called Aviat in America has just started building them again, but with carbon fibre and glass fibre wings. So very much stronger than the original aeroplane, which is a metal frame with wooden ribs covered in fabric. Vision narrows down slowly to a couple of pinpoints. And then you go blind, but you can still hear. It's only when you pull too much for too long that you actually pass out. So that's positive G. Bring down fly past there from Corrine. Very slow and at times, so negative G, very much more dangerous. Pilots treat it with a great deal of respect, and they always make sure there's not that many negative G manoeuvres in their display routine. Tarquin, the Pitts Special you're watching here, is powered by 180 horsepower light. It's only 800 pounds. You can see now why it's got the performance it has. One of the lightest and certainly one of the smallest World War II fighters. Very, very popular with Russian aircrew. A number of very advanced features. Now the Yak-3 went out of production around about 1946. It was actually turned into a training aircraft. They had a second cockpit called the Yak-11. That kept in service in production right away up, all the way up until 1951. The Yak-3 itself, the one you're looking at here, is a very, very strange story. The factory that originally produced Yak-3s, because the Russians don't like giving anything a name, was actually known as factory number 47. Now, a company restarted in Russia at that factory site called Zvezda 47. And they started producing Yak-3s. There was a lot of interest in America from private collectors, private owners who wanted to fly a Russian fighter in putting these things back into production. So the aircraft you're looking at here was actually produced in that factory in 1990. Interesting to think after the Cold War that the Americans and Russians got together to produce a World War II fighter. Now the funny thing is, everybody thinks Russian technology is either a copy of Western technology or is behind ours in some way. That's just propaganda. This aircraft had some very, very advanced features, one of which was you only get an explosion in a fuel tank, particularly a fuel tank that's been hit by a bullet, if you've got a fuel and air mixture in that fuel tank. Now obviously as the fuel tank empties, the space is replaced by air. That can be very dangerous. So what did the Russians do about it? Well, they didn't just make the fuel tank self-sealing. They also tapped the exhaust gases so that they pumped those into the fuel tank. Now that meant that the mixture in the fuel tank was actually carbon monoxide of fuel, which does not explode under any circumstances. And that's something they were doing before we'd even thought about it. You'll notice a very unusual wing shape on this aircraft. The wing's almost triangular. Now that gives you a large amount of lift, but it also gives you a very short wingspan. and that means the aircraft can roll very, very quickly, but it does have one disadvantage. It's called tip stall. If you get this aircraft close to the stall, and you actually do stall it, one of the wingtips is going to stall before the other. The aircraft can flick into a spin very, very easily, and very, very tricky to fly. But that wing shape made them tremendous as a fighter in the Second World War, simply because it gave them this tremendous manoeuvrability. Now the Yak series of fighters started with the Yak 3. They were originally powered by a V12 engine. Went all the way through to the Yak 9, the Yak 9D being one of the best fighters of the Second World War. It was on a par with the American Mustang and the Spitfire. Very powerful, very aggressive, very well armed as well. The Yak 3's armament consisted of a single 20mm or 30mm cannon firing through the propeller boss. It actually was mounted through the engine. And sitting in the wings, to add to that, you had a pair of 12.7mm machine guns, equivalent to the Browning 50 cal. So very heavily armed indeed. But again, very, very agile. And you can see here, Will Greenwood really putting the aircraft through its paces. Of course, the Russian engine company, Michelin, who produced the original engine for this aircraft, went out of business a long, long time ago. So none of the engines were available. However, the American company Allison produced a very similar engine, both in size and power, called the V1300. And indeed, that's what you're listening to now. The American engine was used again in Second World War fighters. It powered such aircraft as the P-40 Kitty Hawk and Warhawk. Also powered the original versions of the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. And it's a rather interesting oddity to see it powering a Russian fighter, a Yak 3 here today. This particular aircraft, you'll see there's a very distinctive colour scheme sitting right up above the fuselage. So he can see you very, very clearly. So give him a big wave, ladies and gentlemen. Will Greenwood in the Yak 3. He's obviously seen you waving. He's giving you a big wave back. this aircraft is unparalleled. There's a good reason for that. As a fighter, you're going to see the bad guy before he sees you. To aid with that, very, very powerful radar in the nose, capable of guiding its missiles onto the target. Multi-mode, electronically scanned array radar, can actually track anything up to 100 targets at once, and select 6 to track with its missiles. Just as manoeuvrable inverted as the right way up, as you've just seen. Acceleration on this aircraft when you've got a full power on the runway can only be described as neck snapping. Showing us a series of very, very tight turns in a dogfight with another aircraft. Tight turning capability basically means you can get behind the other guy before he gets behind you. Another feature you may not have realised about the Typhoon is you can also fly it extremely slowly, capable of Mach 2.2 at the top end, but an approach speed of only 85 knots. The other guys down there. For fighter pilots. Speed and agility were the only things on their minds in building this aeroplane. It just so happens that they made also a very, very good big delta wing means that you can strap a huge floating weapons in large numbers under this aircraft. Long-range fuel tanks, 4 semi-recessed outbound or AIM-120 missiles under the fuselage, very long-range air-to-air missiles. designed by the team at Hawkers, led by Sidney Cam, later Sir Sidney Cam. Had a remarkable career in aviation, started off in biplanes, ended up designing the Harrier. He was ably assisted by his factory foreman, Fred Sigrist, and one of his design engineers, Roy Chaplin. Roy Chaplin designed the spar on this aircraft, which is why it's so strong. Music of the Merlin there. Rolls-Royce Merlin. 27.5 litre V12. Probably one of the most famous aero engines ever built, and it's a totally iconic sound. Same engine, of course, that powered the Spitfire, and later on, of course, the Lancaster. Describe that noise to me as a crackling snarl. And I think that's a lovely description, I really do. First 8-gun fighter to enter service with the Royal Air Force, armed with 8 303 machine guns, 4 in each wing. And during the Battle of Britain, Hawker Hurricanes were to shoot down more German aircraft than all the other defences put together. This was the aircraft that won the Battle of Britain, not the Spitfire. Of its time, the Hurricane was designed using biplane techniques. There's a metal frame inside that fuselage. Fuselage and the wings on the first Hurricanes were actually covered in fabric. It was later on that the Hurricane got all metal skinned wings just in time for the Battle of Britain. Improved the performance no end. Tailplane was to remain fabric covered. That really was the secret of the Hurricane, was the fact that it was constructed of a frame made of tubes that you could bolt together. It required no welding. Now that meant that when one was damaged in battle, you could take the damaged part out simply by doing a couple of bolts, replace it, put it back in. That meant you could get a Hurricane back into the air much, much faster than a Spitfire. And that's the true strength of this aircraft. It was there in the numbers we needed, when we needed it. The 17,500 Hurricanes were built altogether. There are around about 120 still in existence, of which 20, like this one, are still in flying condition. The particular aircraft you're looking at here is a Hurricane Mk2c. The original Mark II was armed with 12 303 machine guns. Could also carry bombs or rockets under the wings. The armament was changed